I don't make sexy videos. I make videos where people actually learn their rights, how to apply those rights during police interactions, how to possibly prevent a false arrest, when in criminal court, when in civil court, in the process deny officers their qualified immunity. You want to watch sexy, go somewhere else and don't learn anything. Stick around and I'll train you to know more than the police. A hell of a lot more. Police are most likely to violate your rights during traffic stops, and they do it two ways. The first is demanding identification from innocent passengers, those who are not suspected of committing a crime. The other way is through illegal searches and seizures, and that's what we're going to see in this video. But to do so, we have to review what a Carroll search is. It's not hard, but it's necessary. It really is necessary. So let's go through a Carroll search again. By the time I get to the end of the video, you will know a hell of a lot more than the average cop. Frankly, I'm sick and tired of watching all these examples where bad and incompetent cops keep winning. Not because they're right, but because the people they're dealing with are wrong, or they don't know their rights, or they know their rights just enough to be dangerous. You want to start winning, guys? You want to start putting those tallies in our win column, putting the tallies in the cops' lose column? Then pay attention. We're not going to do this any other way than learning through education, through knowledge. That's where the power is. The hell with everything else. So let's get started. A warrantless search of a motor vehicle. In this case, we're going to be talking about a Carroll search, 1925 bootlegger case. It's based on probable cause of items criminally possessed in a motor vehicle, and the courts differentiate a car from a home because cars are highly mobile and because of the destruction of evidence. It's much easier when it's in a car. What's the scope of a Carroll search? That's a limitation. If the item or object that initiated the search can fit, it can be searched, including locked containers and the trunk. Let's go through that again. If the item or object that initiated the search can fit, it can be searched, including locked containers and the trunk. And here's the example that I always give people, the elephant in the trunk. If you're looking for an illegal elephant, you don't look in the trunk. Oh, you don't look in locked containers. You don't look anywhere in the car.
This is video from the moment Daytona Beach police officers pulled over a vehicle that allegedly failed to stop at a stop bar. 41-year-old Kerry Jarvis is the driver. Yes, sir. After about 8 minutes, Officer Marvel Tucker returns and tells Jarvis he will be given a warning and asks him to search the vehicle.
You got anything like in here that I need to worry about?
No, sir.
Search the car?
No, sir. No.
Can you search the car?
No, sir. For what? I didn't do nothing wrong with you, sir.
Just asking. You gotta ask.
Over the next 3 minutes, officers asked Jarvis to get out of the car. This time, Officer McKenzie takes over.
Undo your seatbelt, because we don't know if you're hiding weapons, guns, grenades, anything, man.
Jarvis gets out, and McKenzie comes to the driver's side.
I don't know if he was told to turn around and put his hands in the air in preparation for a pat-down, but if it happened, it was illegal. The officers would have had to articulate reasonable suspicion to believe he was armed and dangerous, which they could not.
Jarvis asks to speak to someone else twice. He never consents.
He denied them consent, yet they searched anyway. He wasn't under arrest, they searched anyway. They didn't have a valid search warrant, they searched anyway. Vehicle wasn't being impounded, which would have kick-started, in this case, an inventory search. They searched anyway. Now let's go to a Carroll search. If the item or object that initiated the search can fit, wait a minute, what item? What object? There is none. There was nothing to justify a Carroll search. They searched anyway. They violated this man's constitutional rights, 6 ways to Sunday. But again, we're going to stick to a Carroll search. If the item or object that initiated the search can fit, it can be searched, including locked containers in the trunk. A Carroll search is a probable cause search of items inside a motor vehicle criminally possessed. They could articulate nothing.
When officers say he can't watch the search, Jarvis gets back in the car and officers try to pull him out.
Don't do it, man.
Jarvis punches the gas. Officer McKenzie falls to the ground and Officer Tucker jumps into the vehicle. Then Jarvis crashes into a ditch. Jarvis was arrested that day on 3 felony charges, 2 counts of aggravated battery on a law enforcement officer and aggravated fleeing. He was held without bond and spent 369 days behind bars.
That one little blink of an eye, I lost everything. I lost my kids back. I lost my house. I lost my vehicle. I lost everything I had.
But when Judge Sandra Upchurch saw the video, she wrote, "The videos are the best evidence of what occurred that day." Writing in a ruling, Mr. Jarvis was unlawfully detained after his first denial of consent. Had officers allowed Mr. Jarvis to leave as he was entitled to, no one would have gotten hurt. The injuries resulted from the officer's own illegal activity. The state later dropped the charges.
It just disturbs me because, if they do it to me, they do it to somebody else.
According to police records, the department found Officer McKenzie violated 3 departmental standards directives and was given a written reprimand.
Oh, no, not the written reprimand. I mean, I don't know how they're going to be able to get past that. Put some piece of paper in their permanent record. Personally, I'm glad that body cam footage didn't find its way into the same hole as Jimmy Hoffa's buried. But that being said, did the officers not know the scope of their lawful authority? Or do they know and not care? Well, let's look at the policies that guide both the storage and review of body cam footage. The key word there, guys, is review. Who reviews body cam footage? Well, by policy, it's command staff, usually at the patrol sergeant or the patrol supervisor level, but it can go up higher than that. So what that means is the agency knew what they were doing and they condoned it. Well, the officers would have known they could get away with it because their agency condoned it, which means they've done it before, which means other officers in the agency have done it before because they know that their actions are being condoned by command staff. This is one rotten agency. It's corrupt from head to toe. They know what they're doing. They do it anyway. And guess who else is as corrupt, if not even more corrupt than the agency? The prosecutor. That entire office is just one big... Well, how'd you do on the final exam, guys? I'm sure you did fine. Carol search. It's a search based on probable cause of items criminally possessed inside a motor vehicle. What's the limiting factor or scope of a Carol search? If the item or object that initiated the search can fit, you can search, including locked containers in the trunk. You now know more about a Carol search than 90% of police officers, could even be higher. Ask them, what's a Carol search? Ask them what the scope is of a Carol search, and they will pass out at your feet. Oh, and don't forget the elephant in the trunk analogy. You can't search for an illegal elephant in a car. Oh, here's a question. Do you think the average cop knows that? Okay. All right. Have a good weekend. See ya.